Why did you ask me down here? I mean, what's the problem? What have you been doing here?
Well, Tim has been helping me. I've got 2 saddles that do not fit my horse, plus a high-tech saddle pad that was guaranteed to make any saddle fit. And yet, I know that neither saddle fits and the saddle pad isn't working because Mikey is still sore after I ride him. And we've tried a lot of things. So when I came across your website, I thought I'd give you a call and see if I could bring you here to help me, hopefully.
What have you tried to do? I mean,
We've tried a coat hanger, and that proved to be worthless. I was sitting there forever trying to get that thing to work and fit into the saddle and then make a template off of it that some article was saying would make a good measurement for a saddle, bull. What else? We used a baling twine, an old method that a vet once showed me, to see how the drag affects the measurement if it's a proper saddle fit. But
That only showed us that the saddle didn't fit.
yeah,
It didn't help us fit the saddle. So.
well, let me show you. This is part of the problem here. This is a custom saddle fitting measurement kit that was sent to me by a company. And you can see that it's got this nice little flexible curve system on it.
just like the coat hanger.
Yeah, it's just a little high-tech version of the coat hanger. And then what they've got is this real interesting little thing which talks about extra wide, medium, and narrow. And you can supposedly put the wire onto this and figure out whether you have an extra wide or a wide horse. Now here's another guy who's got another invention where he's got basically a, 2 pieces where he's got narrow, regular, and wide, and extra wide. Now what's really interesting here is if you put this down onto the other guy's measurements, you find out that narrow, medium, wide, and extra wide is actually the same measurement. But what's even more amazing is that measurement isn't even on his measurement. He actually has extra wide somewhere else.
And this is only one axis.
Yes. But we don't even have any standards within the industry that here one guy does one measurement, somebody else does another measurement. So when you go in to buy a saddle, it's total chaos.
I don't know. Let's not beat around the bush, Robert. We need a saddle that fits. How are you different from every other Joe out there? That's what we want to know.
Well, let me get my horse and I'll show you.
This is a computer pressure sensor pad that we originally developed for measuring pressures on humans in hospital beds. This technology permits us to actually see a color representation of the pressure on the horse's back. Now, expert saddle fitters claim that you need to fit the saddle so it fits evenly on the horse's back. Now, to test that theory, we have molded a piece of plastic into a mirror image of this horse's back. Since the plastic is clear, we can actually see that it fits this horse perfectly. Okay, so now what we're going to do is put the plastic to test this idea if an even surface actually does what everybody says it does. So we've got that with a little bit of padding for the horse.
Yeah, Robert,
Okay.
I'm seeing a
Now
lot
you
of
see what's happened here?
red.
You've got a space in the middle here, and then you've got pressure top and bottom. That's called bridging.
Okay.
That's how you get the white hairs on the horse.
But what's interesting is that was the one with equal distribution.
You
So
got it. You got it. That's the issue.
It's not
That's the
working.
issue, that what you've been told for all these years is false.
So it doesn't matter if the saddle weight is evenly distributed because when the rider gets in the saddle, it all changes.
Exactly.
Right? Develop this system?
Yeah.
I'm really shocked that I've been so misled by all the other saddle companies. I mean, not just me, everybody has been misled.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked myself when I, found out about it. I mean, I built this thing 10 years ago and started showing it to the saddle makers, and they've been ignoring it.
So you mean to tell me they've known about this for 10 years?
Well, they realized that if they were to use this, what would happen is that people would see that the saddles don't fit and they wouldn't buy the saddles. Very simple problem. So
we're in this unusual situation where people are selling defective products. The consumer is not aware of the deception, and it goes on and on and on, and we've actually got a solution, and the saddle industry doesn't want to do anything to help.
No wonder we couldn't find a saddle to fit.
Well, you can see the problem. How are you going to fix it?
Well, what I finally discovered is that, like most things that are solved today, is you apply mathematics one way or another. So what I've done is I basically built a mechanical device that breaks the polyform shape of the horse's back into angles and arcs. And once you have those areas described, you then can write a formula that's capable of changing the effect of the weight of the rider relative to the weight of the horse. So if you have a 90-pound rider on a 1,600-pound horse, it obviously is going to have no effect. But if you're going to have a 250-pound rider on an 800-pound Arab, now you're going to have a major effect. So you have to adjust the arc to compensate for that.
Okay.
So what you just saw is that a saddle that is made to fit evenly unladen bridges. So what you have to do is give it more rock so that when the rider goes into it, you now have an even shape. So once you have that, you can then use the computer system to verify that that's true. Now you can adjust the formula for a reiner versus dressage, because the computer then says, well, okay, yes, that's true, the weight of the rider is affected by this, but this particular discipline needs this much more, and then we can get into all sorts of different subtleties, all done with mathematics.
What about the freedom of movement in the shoulder?
Ah, that's a very good answer. Very good question.
But you
Of which I have a good answer.
You have a good answer, that's right.
So what we developed is an orthotic, just like what happens in shoes. And what we can do is we can actually take this thermoplastic and mold it so that the shoulder is free, that you're able to get a different shape so that the saddle will lay against this, but for the horse is free on the shoulders.
And this inserts into a saddle pad?
Well, yes, it has a saddle pad which has foam, because obviously you don't want to put plastic against the horse. But what we can do is we can make a solid surface to go against the horse so that whatever the variations in the saddle are can be ignored. Now, what's interesting is that if you actually fit the orthotic to the horse and then fit the saddle to the orthotic, then what happens is this becomes a spring member, so that it is now working as a spring as opposed to just an orthotic to prevent the injury caused by a saddle that bridges.
So we finally got hardcore mathematics involved.
Yes, and actually I've just put together an Oracle database that anybody that's already gotten measurements, because these have been available for about 5 years, so we estimate that there could be as many as 75,000 horses that have been measured, and now you can go to saddletech.com and then enter the breed of the horse, the sire, the dam, and we're now tracking to be able to find whether there are 80 breeds that have any common similarities. People say that there's a quarter horse fit. The problem is that nobody went out and measured 10,000 quarter horses and then said, this is the average quarter horse. That data has never been collected. We are now collecting it at this time. So, would you like to get your horse?
I would love it. Yeah.
We'll take you through the process.
Okay. I will. Looks like a step up from the hanger.